It's a hot day in December 1923. In the heart of Senegal, in a small village called Tietu, a boy is born, unaware that he will one day revolutionize the worlds of science, history, and ideas. This boy is Cheikh Anta Diop. His childhood is filled with stories and legends passed down by the elders, tales of a glorious past that Africa once knew but seemed to have faded into the shadows of time. Curious and observant, young Cheikh Anta begins to ask a fundamental question: what happened? Where is the true history of his continent? At the age of 23, Cheikh Anta Diop leaves his homeland of Senegal for the bright lights of Paris. He arrives with a mission: to become a physicist. Physics, he believes, holds universal keys to understanding the world. But a deeper quest soon begins to grow within him. As he spends countless hours in Parisian libraries, Diop stumbles upon Africa's history as it had been written by colonial powers. Africa is often portrayed as a land without a past, without civilization, without contribution to humanity. What he reads wounds him deeply. It enrages him. Immersed in these biased accounts, Diop realizes one thing: history as it is taught is distorted, Eurocentric, and denies the greatness of African civilizations. Armed with his scientific mindset and his passion for history, he embarks on a colossal mission. He decides to rewrite the forgotten history of Africa, a history erased by centuries of colonial domination. What intrigues Diop the most is ancient Egypt. This great empire, one of the first major civilizations in human history, has often been presented as a miracle, disconnected from the rest of Africa. But Diop is convinced that this narrative is wrong. To him, Egypt is not just linked to Africa, it is African at its very core. Diop begins an incredible journey of investigation. He delves into linguistics, biology, and anthropology. He compares modern African languages to those of the ancient Egyptians. He studies the pigmentation of Egyptian mummies, conducting research that challenges everything that had been accepted until then. For Diop, there is no doubt, ancient Egypt was a black civilization led by African peoples. And from this land on the banks of the Nile, human civilization began to flourish. His revolutionary ideas soon create waves in the academic world. When he presents his thesis at the Sorbonne in the 1950s, reactions are sharp. Cheikh Anta Diop clashes with a rigid conservative academy deeply entrenched in colonial ideas. He is labeled a provocateur, a revisionist. Some accuse him of being driven by political motives rather than scientific inquiry. But Diop is not one to be easily discouraged. Far from being defeated, he doubles down. He knows this fight is not just his own. It is a battle for an entire continent that has been silenced for centuries. He continues to publish, debate, and defend his work with unwavering rigor. But Diop isn't content with being just a historian. He is also a visionary political thinker. In the 1960s, as African nations fight for their independence, he advocates for a united, strong, and modernized Africa. To him, African unity is the key to the continent's renaissance. He calls on African leaders to embrace science and technology to build the future. Above all, he insists on the importance of rediscovering Africa's true history, one that has been erased or distorted. For Diop, knowing one's past is essential to understanding one's identity, and understanding one's identity is crucial for projecting into the future with confidence. Africa, he says, must reclaim its history in order to shape its future. Cheikh Anta Diop never stopped fighting for this vision. In 1986, he passed away, but his legacy is indelible. He left behind groundbreaking works such as Nations Negres et Culture, Black Nations and Culture, The African Origin of Civilization, and Civilization or Barbarism. These books continue to resonate today among historians, intellectuals, and activists who seek to restore the truth about Africa's history. Decades after his death, his ideas are no longer seen as controversial, but as historically recognized truths. The University of Dakar was renamed Cheikh Anta Diop University in his honor, and his theories on Black Egypt are now studied in universities around the world. Cheikh Anta Diop rewrote the history of a continent. He gave Africa a voice, an identity, and a pride that centuries had tried to erase. Today, more than ever, his work stands as a reminder of an essential truth. No people should be defined by those who dominate them. By rediscovering its roots, Africa has found its wings. Cheikh Anta Diop will forever remain a hero of Africa, a visionary whose tireless quest for truth continues to inspire. He is living proof that knowledge of oneself is the first step toward true freedom.